So here I'm just going to attach this to like some of the other videos because these are older. So I was able to just join the other videos that I had. That was a little easier. But these are just more aspects of the female Elohim. And so what you're going to see here, you're going to see Lach. And that's going to be feminine. And to give you an idea here, because like you'll hear me talk about like Lady Wisdom, because wisdom is a woman. In Proverbs, she's got a tree of life, and she existed before anything else along with Yahweh. And so this is just, these things just got distorted over time. I've even found where in Assyria, that where they were having like a message from Ishtar, and Ishtar, who is a woman, is telling the Assyrians that she is also Nebo. She is wisdom, except that Nebo is a male god. It's a Babylonian wisdom god. Except before they had Nebo, they had a goddess called Nasaba. And Nasaba was the goddess of wisdom. And basically, Nebo took on all of her qualities. But, you know, Ishtar is telling the Assyrians that she's, oh no, I'm also wisdom. Because when you go here to basically Isaiah 46, this is probably meant to be read together. And so it's talking about the images of Nebo and Bel. But if it's talking about their images, that's what that's supposed to be there, their images. Why are their images bowing down? So you have bow down, crouch, bend, bow down. So Yahweh, who's here, is basically talking about Bel, which is another name for Marduk. So it actually shows us here. Bel is just another name for Marduk. And here you have Nebo. And it's not discounting that neither Bel nor Nebo doesn't exist. So what this is saying here, this is who they are bowing to. That Yahweh is saying, no, these other divine metaphysical beings serve me. They bow down and they worship me. Give you a quick idea. The Old Testament doesn't say that all the gods must worship the Lord, but rather that they should be subject to Him. So that this is just one of those kind of silly things where theologians are bending over backwards because they're like desperate to push monotheism. Monotheism is basically just monotheism truly doesn't exist. It doesn't exist anywhere. If you have other divine or metaphysical beings, you have other divine or metaphysical beings. You've got angels and demons, you've got other divine metaphysical beings. It's just that you have a Most High God. Merely having a Most High God is admission of having the God Most High. So let's go to Psalm 97:7 real quick. Psalm. Worship Him all. So that there, worship. Bow down. All Elohim. And I argue that not every single instance of Elohim is the female Elohim, that this just also is plural for gods. Elil is probably just another version that it's either going to mean idol or it's going to mean another divine being. But yes, but again, just basically what I said to back there with Bel and Nebo bows down. So you know, how are they bowing down to him? And again, all, the whole, all, worship, bow down, depress, prostrate. So, and so you're going to see something that gets highlighted from the Septuagint. I have not been able to find it in the Septuagint, either in Brenton Septuagint, that is in English, and Brenton does translate some things directly from the Greek that he doesn't alter them. And then I could not find it just going to the Greek passage as well. But it's not in this tweet. But as we go through here, this is one of the things I've been going on a lot about, like, in this particular, incredibly long convos. So this is Psalm by God. This is basically his daughter. Hear to my voice when I cry out to you, but as you can see, that you is feminine. So this is not Yahweh. This isn't the Most High God. This is basically his daughter. This is who would be known. And so this is showing different versions of law, except that one version of law you see there. It's not the law, it's lock. Another link where, like, someone is feminine. It's feminine. And I'll have another one, like, where they're calling out to someone who is clearly a woman. And again, this is something I bring up a lot with this, that Jesus says that the scripture is divine and it can't be broken. And so here, this is going to show some more of this, because even though that this says Yahweh, this isn't the Most High God that was being spoken to or spoken about, but to show you Yah in a feminine. In which in itself, Yah, I've seen some other people kind of claim this, that, because there are a lot of the things where there will be a Vav at the end of a Yah name, which obviously here you do not see a Vav at the end of this, but it's someone's theory is that later on scribes were adding the Vav, which would be a U. So like if you know, most people would probably know the name right off the top of their head, Netanyahu. And so that's the Vav at the end making that U sound. Except in the Great Isaiah scroll, there is like a Vav at the end of Isaiah. So I think maybe right off the top of my head, I don't know exactly how to say it, how it would be said in Hebrew, but it'd be like Yeshahiel, something like that. But it does have a U sound, but if I remember correctly, Hezekiah does not have the Vav at the end of his Yah name. There's no Vav. So the Vav doesn't always come after the Yah. And so there may have actually been Vavs used at the end of Oz. But in itself, this other person that I've read, that they believe this is how one of these things got messed up, because having a Yah in itself is kind of, to the rules of grammar for Hebrew, that kind of makes it feminine. And so I do believe that there is like credence to this person's theory. And so this may be because there's the idea that Yah is like a poetic name of Yahweh, and it's just not. It's just where you're seeing these other people who basically serve Yahweh. So I'll get back to this. A quick example here is in Song of Songs, chapter 8, verse 6. You get down here to the bottom of the verse. And so you just end up seeing more of Lady Wisdom. As you can see, this is feminine. That's feminine. But it's what they don't bother. It doesn't say fire with the most vehement flame. It's that part right there that they don't bother to translate Yah. So if we go over, it means the feminine, the mighty feminine flames of Yah. Hebrew's got a bunch of different words for fire and flame, both in the feminine and the masculine. The only reason to make it feminine there is because it's about a woman. No reason. So I just go back to actually attach a Yah. So I've got that one. So we got this one here. So now this right here, this is David talking to King Saul. And what it is starting about here, about verse 10, not right at verse 10 at the beginning. Someone advised me to kill you, but I took pity on you and said, I don't want to lift my hand against my Lord, since he is Yahweh's anointed. So we're going to go over here. And so that's what those little highlight points beside of it. So, like I said, I can't find it in the Septuagint. But there are some Syriac manuscripts that say she or it. Except it's saying, it's saying it wanted me to take pity on you. Makes no sense. So it has to be she. Finding stuff in Syriac is a lot harder, and it's something that like Google can't translate. It's a related language to Hebrew. But the Jonathan Targum, which is really old, is supposed to have it. But the Jonathan Targum is end-to-end Hebrew, so I would have no idea to begin where to look for it. But multiple texts will say she or it, so that means it's he. To give you an idea, he versus, yeah, there we go. And Google's wanting to take its dear sweet time, unfortunately. So who is masculine and he is feminine? You will see that in some of my other videos. Because again, it's these tweets I'm going through with these videos are older, and I've deleted the video by now. And so I'm just uploading these to YouTube, and it's just that all the ones from Ecclesiastes were really close together, so I had the videos, so it was real easy for me to just, join those videos together, but I'm having to go through, this separately. But again there, saying, it wanted me to take pity on you makes zero sense. That means it has to be a she. And then I'm going to go to 1 Kings here. Okay, so I'll show you how there are lower deities or metaphysical beings that answer to Yahweh, God Most High. At Gibeon, Yahweh appeared to Solomon in a dream at night. God said, ask what I should give you. And Solomon replied, you have shown great and faithful love to your servant, my father David, because he walked before you in faithfulness, righteousness, and integrity, and that is, and with you. You have continued this great and faithful love for him by giving him a son to sit on his throne as it is today. So we go back here at Gibeon. So we got Yahweh for Solomon a dream. As a matter of fact, as you see there, the very last word is a feminine you, and I don't think I caught that in this video. But that very last word. And so this is Elohim Elohim, she is saying to Solomon, ask what I shall give you. And the you there is feminine, not because Solomon's a woman, but because this is Elohim. So Elohim asks. So this ask is masculine. All right. And even Weomer. This is also masculine. That's how they know sometimes if someone isn't named, that they know if it's a man or a woman talking. Oh, I didn't. But here's where things change. Remember I told you about the Shekinah? And been telling you about the feminine and male aspects. This right here. So everything changes here all of a sudden. So walked before you in truth, feminine truth. In righteousness, feminine righteousness. I don't know all these words in their male ones. Sedek, not Sedeka. Sedek would be masculine version of that. Yashar would be male. This is Yashara. This is also feminine. And heart. And with you. part, that's a feminine you. So there's that one, and if I go back here, see if this takes me to the right one or the one I'm already at. Nope. So go back to this one. Here we go. This here, and that's also linking to the one I just said earlier. So I have no idea right off the top of my head. Here we go. It's this right here. So 61:1, it's the here. So God, hear my cry. Except that here right there, as you can see, and unfortunately this is not a video, but it's feminine. Here, Elohim. That particular version of here is feminine. Here, to multiple women, and this is because she has multiplicity. She has multiplicity. That's the really only difference of why it's that. So I think that's where I'm going to end this one for here, and just from okay, wisdom's called. And so this was an old thread. I was kind of already going on this because wisdom's called a tree of life. And to give you an idea, so this is another theory a lot of people have. Menorah seen as an Asherah tree. This is a working theory of a lot of people. The menorah can be seen as a stylized sacred tree, particularly an Asherah tree. And you go like, well, why does, but like, hates the Asherah trees and all this and all that, except that this particular type of menorah is only supposed to exist in the temple in the most holy place. It's not supposed to be used anywhere else. There was a particular type of incense that was supposed to be made for use at the temple. No one else was supposed to make it. They sewed cherubim. They sewed cherubim into the veil of the temple. It's like, no, this is just for this place here. No one else is supposed to be doing it. Only the Levites can do this. Only Levites of Aaron's descent can do this. There are just particular rules for things. And so to give you an idea, the temple menorah had 3 legs. Yeah, the tripod menorah, in which it does have a base, because I've seen how it at Dura Europus or Eurodoropa, I can't remember how to say that. It has both the 3 legs and a base. But according to traditional sources, it had 3 legs. Okay. So, sure. Okay. You see how that's a tree? Because you got the 7 branches at the top, and then you got the 3 roots at the bottom. That's a tree. Their modern symbol for it makes it just that much more clear. But what my memory's really bad because my systemic mastocytosis has given me a lot of problems, and I've had a lot of problems since I've been in a wreck. Here recently, I thought there was something else that I was going to look at. Besides that, for that, like, a lot of people think it's like a sacred tree. But so that word Yeshira, because it's like a feminine version of Yashar, and Ashar, and Asherah are related words. because Ashar also means upright, like an upright tree. And to give you an idea, here with Abram Publications, so they have this as Asherah and Jesharah. It's the name of one person. And also keep in mind the name Allah can also mean like an oak, and that's related to like different titles for God. But there's both, because like they're not really sure if it is Asherah, the name of this person, or Jesharah. So, because I have like a couple of other those where there was like the huge cluster of the female Elohim in Ecclesiastes, kind of going to some of the other ones that I found. So, just flip this play.
So, this is one of the things I've been going on a lot about, like, in this particular, incredibly long convos. So this is Psalm 141, verse 1. Someone's calling out to Yahweh. Yahweh, I cry out to you, make haste to me, give ear to my voice when I cry out to you. But as you can see, that you is feminine. So this is not Yahweh. This is the Most High God. This is basically his daughter. This is who would be known as Lady Wisdom. This is who would be, otherwise also known as like Shira or Ishtar in other cases. And as you can see, that is still feminine, singular. I'll also link, if I can find the tweets, I'll also find another link where like someone is clearly talking out to a feminine deity, a feminine divine being, as well as where Solomon is basically conversing with Lady Wisdom.
And so that's not going to be the only one.
So another quick example here is in Song of Songs, chapter 8, verse 6. And you get down here to the bottom of the verse. And so you just end up seeing more of Lady Wisdom. As you can see, this is feminine. That's feminine. But it's what they don't bother. It doesn't say fire with the most vehement flame. It's that part right there that they don't bother to translate. Yah. So if we go over, means the feminine, the mighty feminine flames of Yah. Hebrew's got a bunch of different words for fire and flame, both in the feminine and the masculine. The only reason to make it feminine there is because it's about a woman.
And so I've also found it with Ishtar in Assyria, basically where they have stuff with her where she is telling them that she is Nebo. And Nebo was the Babylonian wisdom god, except that, Nebo is a god, not a goddess, except that before Nebo there was a goddess called Nasaba. And so Nasaba was originally the goddess of wisdom. So, and again, here I have the whole thing that the scriptures can't be broken. It's something I bring up a lot. So to give you an idea, just have to go back to, because I'm making my way back through Isaiah. So to give you an idea here, I want to say maybe 46. So, and again, this is a bad chapter break. So here you have Yahweh be justified. So this is probably not supposed to be broken there. So there's Yahweh, the Most High God. Bows down, bell. Stoops. It's just another word that means bow down. Nebo. So let's talk about the image on the beast of cattle. But what's happening is, if it's not saying that Bel, which would be another name for Marduk, and this is Nebo. Really, what's being said here is that they bow down to Yahweh. So there's that one. So here's this one in Samuel. And I'm not sure exactly where to find this. According to them, so the Septuagint, some Syriac manuscripts, Targums, and multiple text reads she or it in Samuel 24:10 that someone advised me to kill you, but it doesn't say I took pity on you. It says she or it, so it's going to be a feminine she. So it would be like a he, and not like he, like R-he-H-E. To give you an idea, because I've tried, because it's not going to show it in like Brenton's Septuagint, but I'm just reading through all the versions of Isaiah, because I haven't been able to find it, even when looking at the Greek one, but they're claiming there are all those other ones, so they just may have been wrong about the Septuagint. It's also supposed to be in the Jonathan Targum, but I can only find it in like in Hebrew. So I would have no idea where to look, but to give you an idea, H-I versus who in Hebrew. So when I'm talking about like he, this would be a feminine she or it in Hebrew. And saying it wanted me to take pity on you would make no sense, and that's David talking to Saul. Who is masculine? This is what I'm talking about here. He, because you'll see where I found some of these where it's using the feminine. So what would be there? What I'm assuming has to be there in like some of the Targums is like it has he instead of who. But who is this she? And so I got about a 2-minute video here.
I'll show you how there are lower deities or metaphysical beings that answer to Yahweh, God Most High. At Gibeon, Yahweh appeared to Solomon in a dream at night. God said, "Ask what I should give you." And Solomon replied, "You have shown great and faithful love to your servant, my father David, because he walked before you in faithfulness, righteousness, and integrity." And that is, and with you. You have continued this great and faithful love for him by giving him a son to sit on his throne as it is today. So we go back here at Gibeon. So we got Yahweh, Solomon, a dream. So Elohim asks. So this ask is masculine. All right. And even Weomer. This is also masculine. That's how they know sometimes if someone isn't named, that they know if it's a man or a woman talking. But here's where things change. Remember I told you about the Shekinah? And been telling you about the feminine and male aspects. This right here. So everything changes here all of a sudden.
And matter of fact, because I don't know what was going on.